Let us begin. The night grows long. At last, a worthy challenger comes.
I am in a black mood.
I shall enjoy this.
Let there be battle.
Sister.
Hello everyone, PrussianPrince here with another Warhammer World Championship match. It's gonna be exciting times because joining me we have Viking. Hello.
Hello.
Viking
I can't
DW.
think of a better way to get home at 5 p.m. after work than to watch Crabling versus Alfredino. My god, what a series
Yeah.
this will be.
Yeah, and that is our series for today. It's actually part of the quarterfinals. Let me look at the bracket. I don't have the bracket up, but yeah, because it's well, as Turin would say, it's still kind of a haggard stream. So like second stream I've done in a while. I haven't added the bracket, but to go over things, so we had Crabling in round 1 take out DBD the Blackthorn 3-0, so seemed like was really a problem for him. Actually, he's dominated pretty much everyone. So next he took out Imperator 3-1. Imperator or Imperator? I mean,
I always say
depends on how-
Imperator.
Yeah, Imperator. So 3-1 there. Then he took out Onyage 3-0, so that's fairly impressive as well. Onyage, of course, a veteran Warhammer 1 player, possibly the best Warhammer 1 player of
Yeah,
all
he
time.
dominated the
Yeah.
game for
Yeah.
most of its duration.
Yeah, so that's very impressive. And this is how Crabling got to the quarterfinals. Now for Alfredino, we have him defeating Takoyaki 3-2 in the first round, which is actually fairly very interesting. I don't know who Takoyaki is, but the fact that he took Alfredino to game 5 must mean that he's fairly good. Then Alfredino took out Voidals 3-1, which actually surprised me because I did expect Voidals to take out Alfredino. So Alfredino winning there
Yeah,
destroyed
not
my
to take
predictions.
anything away from Alfredino, obviously, because he played excellently that series, but Void Lols, I think, underperformed a little bit in those games.
So next, Alfredino took me out 3-2, which was a very close series. Final game was down to Draika against Draika, and my Draika lost. Actually, Alfredino, I mean, my Draika had more HP, but Alfredino had some multi-entity units as well, so...
Some wicked magic.
Yeah, and so I actually rewatched a cast of that, but a Russian, it was a Russian stream actually, it's Rism TV. And at the end, he was like, well, while he was watching it, he looked at the leadership, and my Draika, so it was like on +2 leadership. Then it went to -1 leadership for like a second, and it went back to positive, I think, like right after it routed. So that was, that was an insanely close game. Closer than I thought, even after playing it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you can always point to like a couple little things that could have made the
Oh, yeah.
difference, but I think it's also important to remember that you did a lot right in that game. I think not a single pendulum hit your
Yeah,
units that
that's
whole
true.
game.
That's true. Yeah, and I got what you would call a Prussian pendulum as well.
Yeah,
Just,
on
quite
the
nice.
Deepwood Scouts,
Yeah,
that was beautiful
yeah.
on the Swift Shiver shards.
Yeah,
At that
but-
point, I thought, okay, he's got this, and then, well,
Yeah,
um,
not quite army losses, and also like his decision making was better, I suppose. So yeah, he took out the game. He took the game, not took out the game. Like, can't kill the game. But, alright.
sometimes you want to kill the game after a game like that. You would, if you
A
could.
game like that, yeah. And somehow Warhammer 2 isn't capturing after I switched the scene. There we go. It takes a while sometimes to like get the game capturing once you switch scenes. But yeah. So Crabling's on Beastman, obviously. Maybe we'll get Beastman played, but we'll see.
Well, have we seen a Beastman win yet in like the really high-profile matches?
I'm not sure. I think the last Beastman game I saw was actually a loss between two ODM players. It was Beastman against High Elves, I believe. Pretty close though.
Yeah, Carl Harmon and
Yeah.
Showtime, and well, it actually looked closer than it was because Alariel and the Phoenix could still heal for a lot, and there was still a star in her back pocket. It was one of those sad, typical Beastman battles where, you know, they seem to be doing really well, but in the end they just can't keep up their leadership and deal with the single entities.
Yeah. And then your summons run out, and you're like, oh yeah, well, I guess I no longer have as much control of the battle.
Yeah, and it really
How it works.
tells you a lot about Beastmen as a faction, I think, because at the start, I believe two Dragon Princes were killed pretty much, well, I wouldn't say for free, because he did use a summon on them as well, but they were lost in a very bad way for the High Elves. And in most matchups, that would cost you the game, right? Like, imagine that happened against Lizardmen. But Beastmen, they just don't have that longevity.
Yep.
But yeah, Crabling definitely one of the players who can make Beastmen work. We might see them this series, but I would be very surprised if he leads with them or if we see them before Game 4.
Alright, so we already got the first news. They want you to be louder, so I increased your volume. It's gonna be 3 minutes again, so until the changes take effect.
I guess that's a compliment, right? If people want me to be louder.
Well, do you really want a Viking to be louder though? Like that might be scary.
I'm a quiet Viking. You know, it's the quiet ones you gotta watch out for.
So, well, interesting fact is that actually Crabling has 2 slots open on the other side, so perhaps he's preparing for a 1v2 from the looks of things.
That's confidence, man. That's confidence. Bring me all the ODMs, he says.
Yeah, or maybe he's like, alright, Alfredino, you can take PrussianPrince too, I'll take both of you out just so that there are no issues. Yeah, it's like, and each of you can split the funds.
You know, there
That
was
would
this
be-
funny suggestion from someone, but he was actually serious. I don't remember who it was. He said, if you take Vlad, then you should be able to take Isabella as an AI faction, and then just have her on foot with no items as sort of a, you know, bonus to your army. And I said, no, you can't do that.
That's funny. Okay, no sign of Alfredino. I hope he's getting here because
I'm
Yeah.
sure he will show
yeah,
up. It's the most important game of his life so far. So I don't think he will miss it.
I mean, how do you know he's not like a professional footballer? Or for example, like maybe it is not the most important game of his life.
Well, let's say I just made an educated guess.
Yeah, what are the chances of a really good Warhammer 2 player playing in, like, I don't know, professional football?
You know, the guy who plays The Witcher, he is actually a Warhammer player. Did you hear about that? Henry Cavill?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I still haven't watched The Witcher.
So for all we know, we might just be watching a game between, you know, some famous reality star and
Yeah,
some
maybe
famous sports person.
maybe he's watching the stream right now and be like, "Oh my goodness, PrussianPrince hasn't watched The Witcher." And sorry, Henry Cavill, I'll get it done.
Yeah, who knows?
Okay, so it looks like not only do you have the noise as well, but I also have like some good old drilling. I'm not sure going on here. I'm not sure if how loud it is. Hopefully not too loud, but you know, if it's too loud, like I might end up muting myself at points and letting Viking speak more. So you might get more of Viking.
Well, I have my own background noise, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true. So
If only we could hire a studio for this. Let's do
Yeah.
that next year. Like every year, you need some improvements, right?
Yeah.
Like some quality of life improvements
Yeah.
for the casters, salaries, all that sort of stuff.
well, hopefully the pandemic is done by next year, and I think it's yeah. Well, the vaccines and stuff should hopefully be okay, but you know, especially if the people get theirs. But I actually got mine today, the first jab at like 11 a.m. and it's been a couple of hours. Feeling fine. Although lifting my arm up is a little bit difficult because it feels heavy and it does hurt. So, but that's about it. I haven't
Here
had
we
any other
go.
reactions. Ooh,
Man
there's
himself
Alfredino.
has arrived.
Yeah, the real question is who's the second ODM player joining? The surprise.
It must be ODM Mammoth, the first ODM player to ever win a tournament in Warhammer.
Oh,
Little known
okay.
fact. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he won some Dogs of War against Ondiag at the time. It was pretty impressive, but it was before even I started playing.
The Dogs of War. Oh yeah, like that isn't that. Wasn't that Ninja Hunt's tournaments or?
Yeah, that was like the big tournament he did every once in a while, and then in between he would host like smaller cups, and then when the DLC released, there would be a bigger Dogs of War tournament. And I think it was like the first or the second that Mammoth won.
Oh, okay.
He's actually still playing. I ran into him on ladder not too long ago. Haven't seen him since though.
So here we go. Crabling's starting the picking stage, as he is top of the bracket. He's gonna go with Wood Elves, banning Greenskins, Dowie, and picking Alpine Ridge. Actually, it's Enfant Ridge, so I don't think that map's in the game yet.
Yeah, for Russians it's a bit more difficult, I suppose,
Yeah.
because they have different names for the maps in their own alphabet as well.
Yeah, I can imagine how difficult it must be for like Chinese and Korean players, because I'm pretty sure there's localization for that as well.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
And the maps are in a different order because of it.
Oh, like that's like quite the headache.
Okay, so I guess we should talk about these players. So, how many games of Crabling have you seen this tournament, Prince?
I've seen like, well, I think I just watched let me look at the bracket again. So I did actually see the Onyage games, and I believe that's mostly it. Yeah, but I mean, it's already gone from my mind. There have been so many games, and I tend to forget games, especially if I don't play in them. That's how it goes for me.
Yeah. I watched the series against Imperator, and yeah, the series against Ondiagen as well. And he seems to be on point.
Oh, by the way, how's people on stream? Like, how's Viking now? Like, is he too loud now, or is he still too quiet, or is he just perfect? It's the question. And oh, we have Lotus Moon in chat, as well as Adelmo and Legion. Hello. And Shidoku. Yeah. And Jonasny. And other names.
Shidoku has to be watching, right? There's no
Yeah,
way
yeah.
he's not cheering on his clan here.
So in terms of predictions here, actually, so I'm gonna go and say that Crabling is gonna take this. So that's the first prediction, and then the next one is, well, for map score, I'm oscillating between 3-1 and 3-0, but I think I'm gonna go with a 3-1 for Crabling. Because even though like Alfredino took me out 3-2, so it was really close, Crabling is like, whenever I played him, I think I played him in multiple matches, and I think I only took like 2 games from him. So like I think he's like on a different level. But again, it's this game isn't like this simple to like predict, because you may have like a better shot at taking out someone else than another player, even though like you are weaker than that player or something like that. Like there's a lot of different interactions between players. Might have an
Yeah,
easier
like
time.
one
Yeah.
player style being good against another player style.
Yeah.
And I would say in this case that could be the case actually. Alfredino, like, well, quite a few ODM players, very good at kiting. Crabling tends to be the more aggressive sort of player. So yeah, we'll have to see if kite counters aggression. On paper, in theory, it does, but we'll have to see if it actually works out like that. And Alfredino, he's not just kiting, you know. I've seen his games against Void Lulls, and he takes some solid aggressive armies as well when I feel it's the better option. I also gotta say, sometimes, just from the games I've seen, his builds seem a bit more refined. Like Crabling still has these sort of weird elements in his army sometimes, but he makes them work. That's the other thing. So a little bit more risk on the VM side of things, I believe. A little bit more just, you know, cold calculation from Alfredino. That's sort of the styles we're looking at here, from my perspective.
Okay, we're loading in. So I tapped out at the wrong moment, but looks like I got back in. 'Cause, I was like, oh no,
Okay,
like
that's it. Prussian is out. I'm taking over the cast.
okay, so I'm gonna turn off the army blocker because we're in. So I also gotta have to be really careful with that, especially in this stage of the game. So things are getting really spicy right now. It is the top 8, and there's already lots and lots of money on the line, especially for a Warhammer 2 tournament. Actually, the biggest prize pool there has ever been for a Warhammer tournament, and I think overall,
Total
actually,
War
in Total
tournament,
War,
I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically. So, yeah, this is very exciting stuff, and you know, we don't have Falcon here or Soothsayer, for example. Like, very different set of players here, but still top tier.
Yeah, them being eliminated early really opened up like the scope of expectations. And yeah, you were making a prediction earlier. If you saw the prediction video I made, like, I'm not going to do that again. Okay, so what are we looking at?
Okay, so we're looking at Wood Elves against Empire, because Alfredino decided to counter with Empire, since Crabling first picked Wood Elves. I'm gonna go over the Wood Elves because I have like this inkling that you do want to go over the Empire army. So
The Sons of the Empire.
correct.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
you know
Okay.
me well.
Okay, so for the Wood Elves, we have Crabling going with Durthu. We have a bunch of Dryads as well. I believe that is four regular Dryads and the ROR Dryads as well. We have some Cav, obviously. We have the, as the Wood Elves, they have pretty decent and fast Cav. Is 2 great, is it 2 great Stag Knights? Yes, it is 2 great Stag Knights. Make that 3 actually. Okay. We do have the Glade Riders with Hagbane tips. For some foot skirmishers, we see the Hawk Eyes of Drakira. Okay. And am I missing something? Well, this army isn't too big from the Wood Elf side, and yeah, like some very expensive Cav. So yeah, that seems to be all there is for the Wood Elves. Now, what do we have for the Empire? Much bigger army.
Yeah, for the glorious forces of the Empire, 4 Empire Knights, 4 Huntsmen. A Huntsman General with Crown of Command can make one of his units unbreakable. front line of 3 swords. One of them is the Sigmar Sons. Then the secondary part of the front line consists of the Spearmen with shields, present in pretty much every Empire build. There's actually 5 of them, and lots of spells to use here. A Bright Wizard with the Fireball and the Burning Head, and a Light Wizard with the projectile spell, the Chem's Burning Gaze, and the Net of Amintok. So lots of spells to choose from. And yeah, on the side we have the Silver Bullets hanging out, waiting to get a nice volley into any approaching Dryads, or even better, Stag Knights.
Okay, here we go. We have begun. So the Wood Elves positioned themselves on the hill with the Vanguard, and they're gonna go in ham. We'll see if they're able to do what needs to be done. But huge rush from the Wood Elves coming in. The Great Stag Knights actually didn't get into the Huntsman. There was a little bit of mismicro there, but there's also a big net onto the Great Stag Knights, who get charged here by the Empire Knights. So really good move from the Empire here.
Yeah, Crabling definitely getting the jump. The Huntsman already forced to retreat, but the Empire has more units. The Empire has reserves, so Alfredino will be able to reposition and start firing in shortly.
Oh, there's gonna be a cast here of a Burning Head, which actually burns both the Spearmen and the Dryads. So a little bit of friendly fire, but looks like the Empire caster hates both his own men and the Wood Elves as well.
Yeah, the Dryads, of course, the more expensive unit, so all in all, not a terrible trade, but I gotta wonder how long will these Empire units hold, because the Unbreakable Sigmar Sons, you would want them in the center here, that's quickly collapsing, but instead they're on the flank, not really protecting those ranged units, who are, of course, the main damage dealers in this army.
Yeah, and looking at it, we do have a Fireball coming in, hitting the Great Stag Knights, who are down to like 20 models, but still plenty of ways to go. And right now, I'd say it's looking pretty good for the Wood Elves. They still have Great Stag Knights, and these are a lot of swordsmen, so gonna have a rough time if the Great Stag Knights are microed correctly. And however, we still have some Huntsmen in the field and the Silver Bullets, so if they're not compromised, they could certainly do a lot here. Okay.
Yeah, there comes the Manticore summon, and you know, the Empire army, of course, bigger, so it is able to reposition and start firing, but their melee units just melted so quickly that it looks like Crabling may have the momentum here that he needs to keep up that pressure, especially with this Manticore coming in and the Huntsman General now under attack from it.
Yep, Huntsman General definitely in a lot of trouble here, but the Manticore actually jumping into the Huntsman, so we need to see a reissued attack order from the Manticore here, because right now it is wasting DPS. However, the Dryads are in the Huntsman, sort of dealing damage to them. Other Dryads are also taking care of some Spearmen, so we'll see if the Empire can recollect itself after, well, seems like not really, and the concession of defeat has been called here by Alfredino as Crabling takes game number 1 with an interesting Wood Elf Vanguard rush build here. So yeah, let's take a look at the stats. I'm gonna go over how well the Wood Elves did here. So Durthu himself didn't do too much here, but you know, the Dryads are still up, Durthu's still up. Some decent stuff from the Hawkeyes of Trakira. Alright value from Great Stag Knights and later fighters with Hackbane tips, but really, I mean, it was a lot of what happened there is because the Empire units aren't unbreakable, they ended up routing. So yeah, and the Huntsmen got compromised, couldn't get their value. Oh yeah, Empire Knights also had a really tough time against the Great Stag Knights. Even early on when I said, oh yeah, net the nice move, like net the Great Stag Knights, and then the Empire Knights countercharged them. I mean, they still weren't able to pay for themselves there, even though
just
that
a
was
whole
kind
different
of
tier of units, of course.
Yeah. So what about the Empire?
Vanguard really paying off there. I mean, you could see it that the Empire army was immediately on the back foot, having to move those huntsmen back, and just losing a lot of their units pretty early on.
Yeah, I mean,
of course, on a map like Alpine Ridge, that can be expected, because because of that hill in the middle, you don't have to fear artillery, and I don't think it's the biggest map, most suitable for kiting. So, yeah, especially with a player like Crabling, you could sort of expect this, I would say. But then again, if you deploy further back, it might not be a good thing either.
Yeah, well, if you deployed further back, I think he would have had a decent. I mean, he may have possibly won this game, but because he just got taken by surprise here and wasn't really prepared to think about how to approach this, and he just like his front line just collapsed. The Great Stag Knights still up even after what they've done. The Empire Knights, however, didn't manage to do much here because they're not meant to be used against the Great Stag Knights from the looks of things. But yeah, fortunately though for the Empire, at least one unit paid for itself, which is the Sigmar's Sunseer, almost 1,000 value. I mean, you know, they are unbreakable, so they're potentially going to get more value than other swordsmen just based on that fact alone. And yeah, that's game 1, so we'll see how game 2 goes, but for now Crabling is up. Oh no, wait.
Yeah, there is a bit of issue. There is a
Oh no.
like problem, I would say, with the maps, if you can call it that, because apparently Alpine Ridge is not in the map pool. I'm just a caster, I'm not a referee, so it's really up to them to decide if they need to replay or if the result stands. Personally, I think, you know, it's both players' responsibility to make sure they're using the right maps, and it's not like the map gives a huge advantage to one side or you don't know what the map is going to be. So I would say let the result stand and let's carry on.
Yeah,
but it's not my call to make, so let's see what the referees say.
Yeah, I would also go with that. And oh my goodness, the drilling is going crazy. I don't know if can.
It's not too bad.
Yeah. Oh, Lotus and Legion just messaged me. Like they're playing on the wrong map. MP Peak Pass. Well, unfortunate that, but the delay is yeah. If I noticed that earlier, but it would have been something else. But this time the delay actually hurt me. And
well, it seems they're going to replay it.
Oh,
seems
okay.
the referee called it, and of course, that's a big disadvantage to Crabling because Alfredino knows what's coming. Alfredino is going to deploy back and probably get a lot more value out of his ranged units. And I wouldn't be surprised if he puts the Sigmar Sons in the center now to really hold that rush and buy some valuable time for his units.
Yeah. Oof. Well, they're playing with the same armies as well? Yeah, they are. So they just replay all but with a different map. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the army blocker again and reset the score. It is now, again, 0-0. So apparently Alfredino can turn back time too. He definitely has a lot of powers.
The light wizard had Birona's time warp and we didn't even see it.
So same builds, I would assume, from what I can see as well. So there's no need to go over them again. What we're seeing now though is Crabling deploying on the right side, and yes, indeed, like this is gonna be a disadvantage to Crabling because he has the army that is meant more to surprise the opponent, and also this time, since he's already done it, like Alfredino knows what to expect and he can prepare his formation accordingly. But we will see. We'll see if
Sigmar Sons firmly entrenched in that center. As I said, Alfredino learning quickly.
Yeah. So that's definitely a good move there, and this it's definitely gonna be closer than the last one, I would think, especially due to the map there. Not just because Alfredino knows what's coming.
Yeah, and he has a lot he can do better, I would say. Whereas Crabling, I think the only things he could really improve on from that previous game was the use of his Glade Riders, which I think could have been used to flank and chase a little bit more instead of going into melee in that center. And also the positioning on his Way Watchers of Drakira.
Drilling has begun, and the game has also begun. And here we are. Crabling deploying on the right flank. Alfredino's down the center. Already the positioning is better from Alfredino's side. However, he's going to be the one fighting uphill here. So, not the end of the world for Crabling, even though he didn't get the jump on Alfredino this time. But, oh, please stop the drilling. No.
That's just the sound of Durthu's sword. Don't mind it, guys. Yeah, basically Alfredino with the correct rotation here. This map starts both sides out on a low ground if they choose to stay in defense. So if you rotate and go to the center, you can actually fight on more even ground.
Yeah, and that's what he's doing. The Huntsmen are also starting to get some volleys in, but actually dodged by the Dryads. Still somehow they did actually lose 2 models. So despite the dodges, I guess some of the volleys, some of the arrows actually hit. And
yeah, they always shoot at the edges of units, right? So if you're ever in a Warhammer battle, guys, don't go stand at the edge of the formation.
Ooh, these
Worst
Huntsmen.
place to be.
These Huntsmen are taking some damage from those Way Watchers for sure. They've already lost like almost a third of their HP. Ooh, some big hits onto the Empire Knights, losing a model there. Meanwhile, we have the Empire pushing, not the Empire, but the Wood Elves pushing on the right flank. So it does seem like that's where Crabling intends to engage. However, already we see the Huntsman doing some damage to the Great Stag Knights, but of course Crabling micros back, so he doesn't take too much damage.
And already we've seen like multiple volleys fired by the Huntsman, multiple volleys fired by the Silver Bullets. That's already a win compared to the last game.
We do have the Manticore summon as well, and Great Stag Knights, yes, getting hit pretty hard by Silver Bullets, and looks like the Silver Bullets are going to continue hitting them as well. We do see the Light Wizard actually engaged by the Dryads, and he's getting Dryaded to death there, as you can see. Manticore also coming in to hit the Huntsman General. Again, maybe this time it will not mistarget the Huntsman, so some very important moments right now going in favor of both Crabling and Alfredino.
Yeah, but look, both Great Stag Knights on the right flank already down to like 50% hit points before they've even got into combat. And this is a no healing Wood Elf build, so that's massive.
Yeah, Durthu coming in, looks like he's going to be engaging those Empire Knights, and we're going to be seeing is that a Burning Head here? Yes, a Burning Head. We'll see if it actually goes to the Dryads. Dryads actually dodge that, so I suppose it hits a little bit more of the Swordsman, so some nice micro from the Wood Elves there. There's a big engagement down in the center. Looks like, ooh, what is that? That's an upgraded Flock of Doom hitting those units, and massive Thurfy down there for their route for the Empire. And yeah, this is still hard to say, because the Empire has the Silver Bullets shooting heavily into all those Great Stag Knights, and that's not looking so hot for the Wood Elves as it previously did.
Yeah, of course they are winning the front line, but they're losing a lot of the cav, and if they run out of mobile units, Alfredino will just kite whatever is left, especially Durthu, to death.
Yeah. These Empire Knights need to turn around and charge those Great Stag Knights, because... And not Durthu, actually. They shouldn't engage Durthu. Just leave him alone and defend your skirmishers from the Great Stag Knights. Good move over there. We're going to see a Burning Head, actually, here, hitting those Wraiths of the Frozen Heart. So, good move there from Alfredino. More Empire Knights charging in to stop those Great Stag Knights. And yeah, finally, right now, it looks like Alfredino's in a really good spot, since the Cav's dying for the Wood Elves. I believe they've only got... Is that one Cav left? Yeah, I think it's one Cav.
Yeah, you can see it very clearly. The high ground position here. There's just one netted Cav unit left that's quickly going to get taken out. And from that point onwards, I guess the Dryads can still chase a little bit. Maybe the Hawkeyes of Drakira can put on some ranged pressure. But I don't think they're going to be able to take out enough of these Empire units to keep Durthu safe.
Yep. And yeah, Durthu is just gonna get kited right at this point. There are still some Empire Knights on the field. I don't see any Wood Elf cavalry anywhere, not even coming back from routing, and Sigmar's sons are engaging the Way Watchers, and there's no way to get rid of those quickly. There's always going to be a few models that'll be annoying them, worst case scenario. So yeah, the Way Watchers getting some hits here onto the Empire Knights, that is important. Silver Bullets actually engaged with Dryads, but the Huntsmen will relieve them. Maybe some Empire Knights will support as well. We do have a Burning Head onto those Dryads.
Yeah, again, good reactions from Crabling, but just look at all the red on the field.
Yeah, and we have the Empire Knights making sure those Dryads don't get into the Silver Bullets, so they're probably going to disengage now after the charge. So some good micro from Alfredino there, and here comes a Manticore summon, and which does actually bring the balance of power closer to the middle, which is good for Crabling, but that won't be enough, actually, I would say, because there's just too much on the field for the Empire, and Durthu is just going to get kited and killed at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think the Manticore could maybe go after the Huntsman General, but even if it stays in combat with him for, you know, the full duration of the summon, I don't think it's going to actually kill him. It's going for it now, though.
Yeah, it's going to do some decent damage, but shouldn't be able to finish him off, as you were saying. Durthu's stuck fighting some spears here. Meanwhile, he's going to get shot by a bunch of huntsmen from different directions. Also some silver bullets as well. So the inflating fire is starting to take effect here. 2.5k HP on Durthu, but he's going to start going down very, very quickly. And the Wood Elves are running out of units. And actually, the Feral Manticore actually switched targets, went after the huntsman. Didn't keep attacking the Huntsman General.
Sort of the expected scenario. This is not a build that can easily work if it doesn't come as a surprise. And of course, the cavalry micro in that battle, you know, it was more demanding, but it was also worse. Some of the Stag Knights were just standing around as they were getting shot for like a couple seconds, and in such a fragile, high damage army, you cannot afford to take that damage.
Yeah. So the rematch is won by Alfredino. Unfortunate for Crabling that, you know, his army ended up being a surprise army, and they played on the wrong map, and they had to replay. So yeah, that I definitely say that he was actually disadvantaged by that decision based on the build he chose. I mean,
yeah, look at the Stag Knights.
Yeah.
All Stag Knights combined didn't get the value of one Stag Knight. That's not a winning scenario.
So 1-0 for Alfredino.
And that has to be pretty tilting. Crabling never struck me as a kind of player who easily gets tilted, but I would even, I would even suspect he could be tilted by something like that.
Oh well, maybe Crabling can. Yeah, like it's gonna be rough to reset your mind after what just happened, I guess. But Crabling can definitely do it, especially if he starts like drinking a couple of beers, as he does. Okay. So we'll see. Alfredino's going with greenskins, banning lizardmen and vampire counts, picking Lizard's Bounty as the map. So that seems fairly standard to me, but nothing unexpected there from Alfredino. We'll see what Crabling decides to counter with. Very, very interested in that, because what he counters with, like, he has to think quite hard about it, because it may be a faction he wants to use later on, either in like before game 5 or even like in tiebreaker. But I wouldn't be thinking necessarily as far as the tiebreaker right now, but I would definitely keep the next few games in mind at least.
Well, I think if you have arrived at this stage of the tournament, you need to have a counter ready for greenskins that you just know you're going to play.
Yes.
Because you know they're going to get picked, and you know you're going to have to counter pick them. So yeah, he's just going dwarves. Doesn't even have a lot of time, or doesn't take any time really to think about it. Just communicating to his opponent, I have something prepared, I'm gonna execute it as well as possible, and that's usually the best way to roll.
Yeah, that's a good way of doing it. I would say. I mean, it means that, you know, it strikes confidence, I guess. Oh, like, yeah, I'm prepared for this. So we'll see. I mean, people should be prepared for greenskins. First pick greenskins at this stage, because that is the most common first pick these days. But it's also got, like, the greenskin players do have to be prepared for a bunch of factions that can be used against them, because we've seen, yeah, they ban lizardmen and counts usually, but we've seen Empire, we've seen dwarfs, we've seen dark elves, we've seen Tomb Kings, yeah, beastmen. So we've seen a lot of different factions used against the greenskin first pick. So it's not like they only have to prepare for like 2 factions.
But it's gonna be dwarves, and to be honest, dwarves is not the faction I would expect to see coming out if I'm picking the greenskins.
I mean, I mean, if I see that the dwarfs are here, like, I would expect some kind of cheese from the dwarfs. Like, I don't know what they can really do here, other than some strange cheese.
Well, they can go really wide as well with a lot of thunders. They have like Ironbreaker builds that can work. There are different options. But one thing that made me stop playing the matchup was how they changed mass. You would think that would help dwarves, right? But it actually causes foot characters to get crushed to death by chariots even more, because they just end up not falling over like that Huntsman General did to the Manticore before, which, you know, getting knocked away or getting yeeted off the battlefield is pretty much the best way to survive in this game. It's like the ultimate escape technique, but you can't do that against a chariot anymore.
And we're loading in on a desert map with dwarfs against greenskins. Well, I know that, you know, you love your green boys, so I'm gonna let you go after them after I do the dwarfs, that is. So for the dwarfs we have Grombrindle, the white dwarf, with Gotrek and Felix, so quite the potent hero squad here, foot squad, that is, from the dwarfs. We do have a few miners as well. That is actually 4 miners. One of them being the ROR, the Ekrand Miners. We do have 2 Slayers in the back. What else? I think, yeah, besides the gyros, that is. So for gyros, we have 2 gyrocopters with brimstone guns and 2 regular gyrocopters. So this is kind of the build that I was expecting, actually, and looks like Crabling did end up bringing it. Well, maybe not to a T, but I did think that we might see like some kind of hero squad plus air squad from the dwarfs. But anyway, that's it for the dwarfs. What do we have on the orc side?
Facing down, pretty much the same army Ondiago was facing down. We have a front line of night goblins. It's not telling me that they are the Spinning Loons variant, but I have to assume they're the Spinning Loons variant, and I think that's just a feature of the game where, unless you're the player in control, it doesn't show you that they're actual fanatics, but I'm not sure about that. So one of them is the Unbreakable Night Goblins, the other ones might be fanatics or not. We'll have to see. Then Forest Goblins, Spider Rider Archers, and the Mogreb's Mangy Marauders. Best unit against the Jarus, for sure. We don't have the fat guy on the chariot for once. Instead, it's Azag the Slaughter with Spirit Leech. He, of course, has 110 speed, and Spirit Leech as well can help to deal with those gyros. On the other hand, this guy can get shot down pretty hard by gyros if you're not careful, so Alfredino will have to be on point to prevent that. We have 3 mighty Black Orcs, backed up by Snotling Pump Wagons, and this is very interesting. This is one of the greenskin units I haven't really played around with a lot, but I suspect if used well, they could actually be used to sort of separate this hero squad and also deal a lot of damage to it. Then finally there's the Rusty Airs and the Durkit Squigs.
Okay, the skirmish has already begun. We've seen the gyrocopters, well, they were actually focusing the Mogreb's Mangy Marauders at first. Now looks like they've switch their targets to Azek the Slaughter, so we're gonna have to see some decent micro here from the dwarves. Some gyros dodging and like kiting while the others are shooting. Looks like already some is micro from Crabling, actually getting those gyros engaged in melee and the Spirit Leech, but now he's fixed it. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. Oh, we do have the Skyhammer, which I did miss actually. Yeah, we have some chariots coming in as well. Well, it's not like pump wagons, not the best chariots, but chariots nonetheless. And they're getting into the miners here and trying to do some work, pulling out.
Well, I'm glad you noticed the Skyhammer, because there was only a limited window of opportunity for calling out that unit, since
Yes,
it just stuck around in front of two of the most deadly archer units in the game and died.
Yeah, like I didn't even see its HP go down as I was looking at something else.
Yeah, it's gone.
Quite devastating for sure.
Yeah, how much is that unit? Isn't it like 1900 gold?
It's I don't know about 1900, but it's definitely easily
it's probably
over
less,
1,000.
but it is expensive. It is
Yeah.
expensive, and the gyros keep getting attacked by Azak. I don't know what's up with Crabling, but this is subpar from him compared to what we're used to, which is of course very high standard.
Yeah, well, Azek, that said, he's still taking some damage. We do have the hero squad from Dwarves still at full HP, but everything else isn't doing so hot. We do have some loons here hitting the Ekron miners. And miners still getting some shots off. There are still 34 models, so about half of the total count of models still alive. But Snotting pump wagons coming in, and Alfredino is putting in the work. But gotta be careful, because the tools for the dwarves, the main components, the two win conditions are still in play. The air squad and the foot squad here. So see how that ends up playing out.
Yeah, foot squads, they have this well, synergy where each of the heroes deals splash damage, and they're covering each other's flanks. So units that are trying to fight them are constantly getting knocked away and unable to complete their attacking animations. So you saw how quickly they took out the Black Orc there, right? You might remember us testing how many Bestigors
yes.
that foot squad, well, a similar foot squad was able to kill. It is quite strong.
So a couple of Slayers engaging Black Orcs here. That's not the engagement that they want to have, so they're gonna go down soon. Looks like we have the Night Goblins trying to slow down the foot squad so that the rest of the archers can shoot from the greenskins. Skirmish cap going around. It is trying to screen out the gyros, and it's doing a decent job of that right now. But the foot squad is still alive, and it's pushing forward.
Managing to get onto those rusty airs, of course, want to take away Azak's safe space. Azak says, I don't need a safe space, I'm just going to eat your gyros again. There he goes.
Yeah.
But
Now
this time Crabling pulling away.
we have these Night Goblins going down, and Black Orcs come in. I think like just sending in one unit at a time to slow the foot squad is what you need to do. Like, no need to overcommit with your infantry onto the foot squad. Just try and do your best to slow it down. But again, the Black Orcs, they've been flash bombed, and they're gonna eventually die to foot squad here. And Azek is also starting to get a little bit low.
Yeah, although it looks unlikely that the gyros will be able to finish him off. Of course, only one of them, well, one of them is a regular gyro, which won't hurt him much. The other ones are brimstone guns, but, you know, there's still some archers on the ground, and there's not much ammo left, so I think Azak will be just fine.
Ooh, some bombs being dropped there as well onto the Black Orcs, doing some work, and they're gonna rout soon as they have negative leadership. Another Spirit Leech onto those gyros, so maybe they'll start losing models soon. They're definitely, you know, 3 models at 1100 HP, so they're in that territory. And there we go. Actually takes out one of them, and the rest of the models should die quickly.
And Crabling just getting a little bit too greedy, I think, to get his bomb drops off, to get those shots off. Because he's constantly getting meleeed, another gyro now terrified. And yeah, the last ammo is about to run out, and Azak is still alive. That means the gyros have failed.
Yeah, one of them, it is terrified, so... Oh, actually, it came back from terrified and still routing. Full HP Felix. He's gonna probably heal up Gotrek and Grombrindal, but we'll see if that's gonna be enough here, because there are more Black Orcs coming in. We do have the Rusty Arrows in play. Azag is chasing off those 2 gyros. Skirmish Cav helping him as well. So, we'll see if it's gonna be up to the foot squad here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one thing Crabling at least has going for him is that he managed to put a lot of damage on Azag. So Azag isn't really at liberty to just dive in and try to snipe Felix, which is really how you defeat this hero squad. Alfredino is going to have to really grind down this foot squad with his units, and he does have a lot of units. Balance of power is in his favor, but there's a lot of healing left and not any healing available for the greenskins, of course.
Yeah, so typically how you deal with this foot squad is you take out Felix, as he's the weak link, he's easier to rout, and there he goes actually, he is wavering. Wait, oh no! Grombrindal has no fear, making him unbreakable, so good move there from Crabling to save him for as long as possible, though he should eventually still rout.
Yeah, you know, if I were Alfredino, at this point I would pull back my melee units, because you still have ammo, and you just need to snipe Felix, right? And he cannot heal them if he's not in melee. And there he goes, he routs, yeah, that's it. He doesn't even need to do any sneaky stabbing, as I would.
Okay, so Dwarf's gonna end up losing this one, because with Felix out, there's no way they can do what is necessary to win here. Also, the gyros are routing again, so maybe if they get chased by Skirmish Cav or Azag, oh, they actually do end up coming back, but Azag's here, we might be able to see more Spirit Leeches coming in. There we go. Another Spirit Leech. Azag might just want to sit up there and not go down, because he doesn't need to go down anymore, actually. I think his army should be fine.
Yeah, there's no need to take any risks at this point. I think he could even lose Azag and be fine, because it's not like the dwarf units cause fear or terror. The leadership is still looking good, but there's no need for it. Like, he's just gonna snack on another gyrocopter, and that's gonna be the end. That early gyro bomber loss just, well, losing Crabling the game. It would have been pretty crazy if the foot squad had been able to carry from there, to be honest.
And it's still alive, but it is gonna end up falling soon, though. And it is, I mean, it's still fairly close, actually. I mean, all things considered. There's not that many infantry units left on the field for the greenskins. And if it wasn't for Skirmish Cav or the Rusty Arrows here, things could have gotten dicey in this scenario.
Both dwarf heroes, of course, well, Lord and hero, of course, unbreakable. Gotrek might even get a heal, but I don't think it's gonna matter in the end.
Did he heal someone else? Because I don't think he got.
It seems it didn't work.
Yeah. And he's down.
And there he goes.
Okay, well, looks like Alfredino is gonna go up 2-0 in the series. And that's very surprising because, well, I mean, first of all, I do think Crabling was the favorite going into this. I think most people as well. But, yeah, and this also means my prediction is out of the window, because I could predict 3-1 Crabling. So I'm done.
Should I make another video about predictions going wrong due to ODM players?
So we could have potentially a very short series here, actually, if Alfredino ends up taking the next game.
It's clear that he's well prepared. This kind of build that he brought, I wouldn't say it's a direct counter to Crabling's army, but you would definitely go Azag to counter gyros, I think, rather than Grom.
Yeah. Oh, some gyros with 62 value, and Skyhammer with 487 value. Yeah, that's
like really atypical by Crabling this game, because this is a build he played before to great effect, and this time he did the exact thing he shouldn't do, which was move his gyrocopter in front of 2 deadly archers and lose it instantly, while also getting his other gyrocopters entangled in melee.
Yeah, so I wonder if, I mean, if he is legitimately tilted after the having to replay the first game or not, or if he's that kind of player or not, but could be coming into play if he is.
Well, I think something to keep in mind is that we have seen these players a lot, of course, especially Crabling. I remember when he was winning every cup that I was hosting. You probably do as well.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a difference. Like, the stage is way bigger than anything these players have played on before. So, yeah, we could see them behaving a little bit different, as there's a certain amount of pressure that is on them that just isn't present in most other tournaments or any other tournament that there has been up to now.
Yep. Okay, army blocker on, just making sure. This is not the moment where you want to slip up. And yeah, Crabling, well, 1 game away from losing the tournament. This also means that, you know, since he has not taken any game from Alfredino, well, besides the first one that was replayed, he needs to win the next 3 games. So 3 games in a row against Alfredino is a tough ask, but it's not impossible. Like, and if someone can do it, it is Crabling. The reverse sweeps have also happened before in this tournament as well.
Well, I think the way to handle with it, or to deal with it, you know, as a person who's often been 2-0 down, is you just don't have to think about it. Being 2-0 down doesn't really give your opponent an advantage in the game that you're playing at that time, right? And you just need to focus on the game you're in and not think, oh, now I have to win the next game and now I have to win the next game, because if you're not focused on the game you're in, then there may be no next game. So yeah, let's see if Crabling manages to put it out of his mind. He definitely has to step up his performance, because this is he's kind of losing to his own mistakes, and of course Alfredino is strong enough to, you know, punish that.
And I don't see any GG in chat from either player, so unless like it's bugged on my end, which could be the case. So it's yeah, I do think the tilt is in full effect.
I don't think there's any bad blood because of, you know, the first game, definitely. Because we instantly went to the replay, so that it didn't seem like there was some sort of discussion or anything about it. But you know, players might just be tense, and I don't think you need to type GG after every game either. Like, if you just say it at the end of the series, that covers it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if we're being really honest, was it a good game, Prince? Was that a good game?
No, not really.
Not really, right? I'm sorry. I mean, it was entertaining, so I guess in that sense it was sort of good, but...
It was fun to watch, yeah.
You don't see the Skyhammer every day, and you definitely don't see it dying 1 minute into the battle every day.
Cool death animation, though, that's for sure.
Yeah. Do you think it should create a larger explosion based on how many bombs it has left? Because if that was the case, then the whole battlefield would have just gone boom.
It should also like destroy like the unit that it drops on.
Did you know some units actually do damage like that when they die?
Yeah, also some large entities, I believe. I think some do, yeah.
Yeah, I had one game on Quick Battle where there was a Tomb Kings player and he just had Cetra left, so I thought it would be really thematic if I sent in Gotrek to fight him. And Gotrek killed Cetra, and then Cetra fell down, and Gotrek died too. What? How did that happen? But apparently it's like the splash damage or the collision damage or impact damage, I believe it's called officially, when you get knocked away by something.
That's very unfortunate.
Which actually makes me wonder if, you know, charging through your own troops or the splash attacks from your own heroes do end up doing damage to your units indirectly.
Oh, I just noticed that there's actually there are 6 of us in the lobby.
Yeah, and it's really smooth.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
Also with like players from all over the world. So I mean, Crabling's from Russia. We have like Alfredino. I don't remember where he's from. I guess he's from France since he's in ODM. Although ODM has gone a lot more international recently. We do have
Yeah, they
some
have branched out.
Yeah, and also we've seen. We see Han, Chosen of the North here, so some Chinese representation, and I believe Nefris as well. I'm not sure where Nefris is from. But
He's a Chinese player as well.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, must be the co-caster or just caster or something. Yeah, and people from all over the world. I'm also from Romania, and Vikings from Belgium. So it's still going really smoothly. Yeah. Looks like you were able to type in chat as well.
Yeah, I wasn't seeing any
Yeah.
chat, so I was wondering if there was some bug and we were just stuck in
Yeah,
limbo. So I
me
figured
too.
let's just try it out, because it
Yeah.
seems well, it's up to Crabling to first pick now. He hasn't done so yet, so I wonder what's going on. Of course, he is on his last life now. Certainly doesn't want to go out like this. This would be a very anticlimactic ending if he just gets trioed like that.
No more revives for Crabling. For sure. Oh, +2.
Alfredino joking around in the chat,
Yeah.
showing he's feeling good.
He's in a good mood.
I would be too if I were to go up against Crabling. Not
and-
that I've been in that situation, but
Yeah, and
I actually
top
never
eight.
played a best of 5 against him. Some best of 3s.
I've always been down against Crabling. So yeah.
They used to be
Never.
way easier to beat in Warhammer 1, but at some point, I guess I started slacking and he started getting a lot better. Yeah, it hasn't been as easy, to say the least. But today, he's not on point, man. It's really strange.
Yeah. Well, it is difficult for anyone to be on point on any given day, so you do have your off days for sure. So could be one of those days.
Yeah, it's true. It can happen to anybody, obviously. I mean, we saw so many favorites going out super early, actually. Well, compared to expectations. Which isn't necessarily to blame on an off day, but I guess when you lose, it's always an off day to a degree.
Yeah. Well, the biggest surprise for me was like Fistek, because he went out really early in group stage as well. So like that is still the biggest surprise to me.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it was still close. He lost
Yeah.
2 series to 1, I think. And like one more map win would have seen him getting through. But yeah, it's the ever-chosen going out in the group stage. But, you know, we also lost other great players that we're used to seeing
Yeah.
pretty far into the bracket.
No Falcon, no Soothsayer.
I mean, even in the group stage, right? Cyphus went out.
Oh yeah, that's true. But
Some
I forget
washed-up
them.
Belgian guy who should have made it went out.
Oh, Achilles. No.
Yeah, that's totally why.
Okay, well, looks like we have Chaos for Crabling, banning Lizardmen and Counts. Hang on a second. Has Crabling already banned the Counts? Wait. No, he has not. Okay, because you cannot ban the same faction.
Yeah, he banned greenskins and dwarfs when he
Yeah.
was Wood Elves.
Yeah, okay. So, gotta be really careful for later on. 'Cause you don't want to be stuck in a situation where you cannot ban a faction and you get screwed. So, yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing is probably planned out from the start, I have to imagine.
Yeah.
But maybe this is the point where you might start second guessing yourself and doing something else. But I don't think it's the best option, and I think Crabling is experienced enough to know that.
Yes.
Chaos Band, Lizardman, and VC seems like a pretty premeditated choice.
Yeah, and well, Crabling hasn't. Well, it's interesting that he hasn't actually first picked Greenskins through this whole match. He hasn't played them at all, so not just first pick. So it's been like Wood Elves and Chaos for his first picks so far, and I get Wood Elves, but Chaos as a first pick is really interesting, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. There's sort of a dark horse in multiplayer right now, maybe a little bit less among top players. We saw the win rates. Chaos actually doing really well there. I believe I saw a 55 point something win rate for them. And yeah, it's a faction that can actually handle most other factions, which doesn't mean they're actually favored all the time, but I would say it's a decently solid first pick. It looks like Alfredino is thinking about countering with the Dark Elves.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like chat's talking about my involvement in the tournament. So okay, what I've done for the tournament is, well, part of the admin team, the media team, also a participant, and that's it. Like, also made the website, I guess, but I don't make any decisions in terms of like, okay, you like any rulings in games or anything like that, because I don't know the rules as well as others, and I didn't want to be in a position where I had the opportunity to potentially screw things up because I have wrong interpretation of the rules or something like that. And yeah, I just didn't want to deal with it because I've already been involved with the tournament in like multiple different ways, and that's enough for me. Enough.
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
dirty job, but someone's got to do it.
Yes.
But not me.
Yeah.
Not us.
Yeah. So yeah, I specifically said, okay, like I don't want to do anything with in terms of refereeing. So yeah.
If you were a referee, you couldn't play in the tournament, right?
That is also true, and that's another reason why I decided not to be a referee.
Totally understandable. I mean, you made a nice run.
Yeah, could have been nicer.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I got smashed, because then I'd be like, okay, like I got totally smashed, so like some degree I wouldn't feel as bad. Because I didn't get, because right now being so close, like inches away from next round, kind of feels a bit worse.
I know how it
Perhaps,
feels,
yeah.
man. I know how it feels. I was one map away twice, and, well, I think I told you about my games. I don't want to talk about them too much because the stream isn't about me, but I had some very unfortunate games in the group stage.
Well,
like 2 times where something happened that really shouldn't have.
well, there is time. I mean, it's actually Alfredino going with Dark Elves, so yeah. But I mean, we still have some time to think about whatever, because we need to kill time while we're in the lobby. So Crabling.
Yeah, I was just gonna give you some pep talk. Like in the hearts of the people,
Yes.
Prince, it was much better for you to go out the way you did. It sucks, for sure.
Yeah.
But anyone who watched those games, like, definitely, you build up a lot of respect among those people, including myself. Like
Yeah.
the way you played was just really good, and I know sometimes things can just go wrong, which you don't really have control over, and that's sometimes just the way it goes. But I think, like, especially considering like your relation with this game, the fact that you got so far and could have gotten even further is pretty dang impressive.
Yeah, and I didn't expect the last game to be that close, because I don't remember the last time I played Wood Elves, especially. I don't know if I've ever played Wood Elves against Wood Elves, so yeah.
You
So
had a
that
pretty
was like,
solid
yeah.
army too.
Yeah, well, that wasn't my army. Like, I got some advice from the clan, which is part of why I got as far as I did. Like lots of build advice when came from there.
Yeah, but you know, some people who made it further than me into the tournament may have also been using a couple Viking builds. Just saying. I think it's pretty common among players to, you know, especially kind of players like you and me who don't have hours and hours and hours to grind on the game and design builds. Sometimes we need a little help from our friends, and that's fine, because in the end it comes down to army control more than just the build.
So another fun fact actually is on the same day, and I think like hours apart, Ice Power got taken out 3-2 by an ODM player, and then it was my turn, taken out 3-2 by another ODM player. So the last hope for RTK and XMT taken out by ODM. Last hope's gone. So yeah, very, very strong showing from ODM, like this tournament so far. But despite that, I do think that it's gonna be an even start Crabling final, because while I think that
Crabling is gonna make it still.
Yes.
Okay, let's see if he can do it against the mighty Dark Elves. We're loading in.
Yeah, like I still believe in Crabling, even though like he's down currently. So yeah, Crabling will not. Yeah, hopefully will not disappoint and bring us to game 5.
He will not go quietly into the night.
Yeah. Just imagine a crab like withering away. All right. So
that's a very sad image that's going to stay with me a long time.
All right. So I suppose I'm gonna go over the Chaos Army and then you go the Dark Elves. So we have the Arwar Hell Cannon here, which is the Soul of Damnation for Crabling. Then we have Sartorial, the Watcher, a bunch of Skirmish Cap. I believe that is 5 of them. Let's see which variants. So I think it's a mix of Marauder Horsemen and Horse Masters. 3 Horse Masters and 2 Horsemen from what I can tell. Let me just double check that. Yeah, I think that is the case. We also have 4 Chaos Warhounds. How many poison variants? I think they're all poison versions. We do also have a front line of fairly mixed front line. So 2 Chaos Marauders, regular ones, a Chaos Warrior with great weapons, make that 2 actually, and the Mirror Guard. That's it for Chaos. So what do we have for the Dark Elfies?
We have Morathi with the Greater Arcane Conduit, both of her debuffing abilities, Soul Stealer, and one of the Kuradon, which may be used to kill the Hell Cannon, but she might just get killed in turn by it if she's not careful or if the horsemen target her. And then a lot of elite infantry, which Crabling will like to see, I think. No less than 3 Hargonnet Executioners, one of them the Blades of the Blood Queen, then a Blackguard of Nagarant in the back as well. So plenty of good targets for that Hell Cannon. 2 Blackguard Corsairs, armored ranged units that can shoot back at the horsemen. And same thing with the K-Knight Assassins, already being used to zone out these Marauder Horsemen. They are bringing the Black Dragon eggs to help destroy the Chaos Infantry, and one of them also has a debuff that they can throw on Sartorial if he comes into combat. Aside from that, there's 2 Dread Spears and 2 Dark Riders completing the army.
So in terms of build, I think Chaos got the better end of this, and we're gonna see some Chaos Warhounds getting into those Blackguard Corsairs. Hell Cannon shooting into those Blades of the Blood Queen. They're down to 66 models. Warhounds actually not doing so much. They got in, and then they actually took more damage than they dealt to those Blackguard Corsairs, and they'll take even more damage as they run away.
Yeah, the Blackguard Corsairs, it's a trap unit. Well, sort of, for the opponent. It can be a trap, because you think it's a ranged unit, so I should put my dogs on them, right? But they're actually more of a melee unit that happens to have a ranged weapon.
Assassin's Trophy on Sartorial, actually, and he's being chased by Morathi. There are no supporting units, though. Like, the 2 K-Knight Assassins, they could be there supporting Morathi, but instead they decided to fight some Warhounds, so Morathi definitely needs more support here, especially as Skirmish Cav comes around.
Yeah, Morathi not too scared of Sartorial, I would say. If you look at his... is kinda low thanks to Marathi's debuffs. Okay, now she's taking a lot of damage to the final transmutation. Has to throw a Soul Stealer here in just a second. Ooh, is she going down?
Oh, she's
She
being
is
focused as
routing.
well.
And she didn't get the Soul Stealer off, so if the Hell Cannon hits her now, she's gone. But he has to reacquire his firing soon, and he's doing it. See if the shot hits.
Right, very important moment right here. Oh, it misses.
When she did get the Soul Stealer, because you can see that her health is higher than when she routed.
Yeah, I didn't see it pop though, so that was weird. But Sartorial is very, very low right now. So, yeah.
He's going down, and Crabling,
Yeah.
trying to save him, forgets to chase Marathi with his dogs, and I think she's going to rally.
And he's going to lose Sartorial, maybe. He's on 200 HP. 100 HP. He's going down. There's no way he escapes. There he goes.
Right before he throws another spell as well, I believe. No, that was
It,
actually
it went down. Oh,
No,
but
it's
it was,
the-
yeah. It was the
Web of
assassin.
Shadows, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the black dragon egg. That would have been strange.
Yeah.
It was actually the Web of Shadows from the K-Knight Assassin, doing what an assassin should be doing. But, you know, even with all that, Dark Elves are in rough shape. Hell Cannon is firing unopposed just into that elite infantry, getting tons of value.
Morathi going down to 2 Marauder Horsemen, actually. So, yeah. They need to keep chasing her, actually. Because they did get Soul Stealer, and she's healing. And what? Oh, yeah, they're still affected by Soul Stealer, but... I mean, the balance of power is definitely in favor of Chaos, but there's still a couple of Hargonet Executioners, some Blackguard of Nagaron, 2 Khaine Assassins in play, but Morathi's alive. She can continue running away while you know, the Dark Elf infantry tries to mop up the Hell Cannon. But I think, sorry, I'm dying here. But Hell Cannon might go down to the Dark Elves here. It should definitely be attacked, but because that's also a big part of the balance of power.
Yeah, he definitely has to go for it soon, because there's still one healthy unit of Hargonet Executioners, but it's not going to be so healthy if the Hell Cannon gets shots at this range into it.
Yeah, looks like Morathi is trying to hide around that obstacle, by the way, dodging the Marauder Horsemasters.
Yeah, a lot of Alfredino's micro definitely going into that. Maybe that's the reason the Hell Cannon hasn't been taken offline yet.
Yeah, and we have a bunch of Chaos Infantry still alive, so that's gonna be difficult for Dark Elves to push through, because they're definitely running out of infantry. And the Hargonet Executioners took a massive hit from this Soul of Damnation right there. 2 Khaine Assassins are still up though, so we'll see if they can do something here, but it's gonna be rough because, oh, actually those Chaos Marauders and Chaos Warriors do end up routing.
Yeah, they were fighting on a low ground, and ooh, the Hell Cannon shot hits the tree. That's not ideal. And you know, if Morathi can get another Soul Stealer, she's about to do it. This could still turn around, but she might just die here as well.
Only caught one of the Marauder Horsemasters, actually. Well, one Horseman and a Horsemaster. So, could have hit a lot more, but, you know, at least managed to get one of them.
Yeah, and healing at this stage more important than the damage she does with it, I think. But Crabling just keeps hounding her, and I think his use of the Horsemasters is really what's going to win him this game, because it does look to be swinging heavily into his favor right now, as Morathi is on the ground, getting hit by more javelins. And there we go.
Yeah.
We have a series.
Yeah. Crabling takes the game here, as the rest of the Dark Elves drought off the field. So I think, yeah, if the Dark Elf single entities were actually at higher HP, potentially they could have taken this one, I think, but they took way too much damage. So let's take a look at stats. Sartorial 2.1k, despite falling relatively early in the battle. The Chaos Infantry not doing so hot, but the Horsemen, the Skirmish Cav, definitely paying for itself. 1400, 1100 on one of them, 900 on another. Even the Horsemen doing quite well. But yeah, the Warhounds definitely didn't seem to do much here, actually, because one of them almost paying for itself, but still overall they kind of died. So there was I guess there weren't many targets for them as well, because just elite infantry and black arc corsairs. So what were they gonna attack? I mean, they're just good for the poison. And Soul of Damnation didn't get shut down actually, so full. I mean, 2,700 damage value basically. And how much value did the Dark Elf units get actually? If you can look at them. Or
Yeah, so Marathi getting about 1k, K-Knight Assassins, 1500 split between the two of them, Dread Spears, just 200, the Hargonet Executioners, of course, suffering to the Hell Cannon, just getting about like 400 to 500 damage each. Blackguard, sort of the same problem for them, a little upwards of 600, not much. One Black Arc Corsair doing really well, of course, 1200. I believe it was shooting at some Cav and at Sartorial as well. And the other one also 600. So they actually did quite fine. And then the Dark Riders, they pulled their weight because they were fighting those dogs. This game from Crabling, I think, won mostly by the builds. There were still some shaky moments in there with Sartorial also losing some of the dogs at the start and getting some of his horseman cavalry into melee. But he did enough things right to win. But I think he still needs to up his game if he wants to make this comeback, because he's not going to get this sort of build advantage every game from now on, I believe.
Yep, and now we have 2-1. So Crabling actually, if he takes the next game, then he's really got the mental advantage against Alfredino at that point, because you don't want to be, I mean, even if it's 2-2, you don't want to be the person who won the first two games and then lost the next two. You're at that point, you're like those first two games are actually quite far away in your mind, so you're thinking mostly about the last two, for sure. So, and you're being like, at that point you might be thinking, oh, am I really gonna get reverse sweeped here, and am I gonna lose 3 in a row after winning the first two? So yeah, can be quite a hard pickle to get out of.
In Crabling's position, like, you could maybe even say, well, I won the first game. It's actually tied up already, but of course the score tells a different story. But I don't think he needs to be worried about his opponent outclassing him or anything like that, because Alfredino is definitely a fine player. Like, I would say they're on par. It's more that, okay, the first game was, well, the first game that counted was difficult to win. But still, the Cav micro could have been better, right?
Yeah.
And I know I'm maybe being a bit overly critical, but this is a very late stage in the World Championship, and I hold especially Crabling in very high regard, so I know he can do better, and he knows that as well. He just has to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, I do kind of disagree with you, because I don't think these two players are even. As I said, I do think like Crabling is the better player here. Even if just slightly, he's definitely better in my mind. And so
yeah, I mean, in terms of experience and like victories that they have on their konto, I would say so, yeah. But of course, that's the past, and I think Alfredino is showing up stronger in this tournament than he has in previous ones. That's why I would say that, like, right now, I would consider them on par.
Well, I mean, at least from like my matches against both players, I do think Crabling is stronger. So yeah, I mean, again, that depends, because you may have a better matchup against a specific player. So yeah, hard to say. But yeah, Alfredino is still up 2-0 here, so definitely proving that he can actually make Crabling bleed here. We'll see if he can finish it here, or if Crabling's going to mount an insane comeback.
Well, it would be nice for Crabling if he didn't throw his Lord or throw his Gyrocopter right away, you know? Like, those are things that make games difficult to judge, in my opinion. Because if someone plays the build pretty much to its full effect and you beat it, then you know, like, okay, that was really strong. If they sort of throw the game away. It's hard to measure like the opponent's level from that. But I think we can say Alfredino did everything he needed to punish the mistakes that Crabling did make, and Crabling knows he can't afford such mistakes. And now he's up against Lizardman, the strongest factions in the game.
Oh, army blocker. I almost forgot. I'm glad I have it on now.
Yeah, Crabling hasn't confirmed faction.
Yeah.
He's switching between Counts and Norska. I don't fancy either of those choices against Lizardman, but maybe you know something I don't.
Sorry. I'm just reading chat because I haven't been able to for quite a while, and people are talking about how the map was wrong again. But yeah, it's I believe it is now correct.
If Crabling wins, the map is wrong.
Yeah, I'll double check just to be sure. So yeah, just to make sure that nothing is happening here that could also result in an unfortunate situation where we have to replay or something like that. So I'm gonna look over the yeah, where's the map pool? I need to find it. Where's the final stage?
Morse is in voice with them, so I would assume that we could give the players a little heads up if they have the wrong map selected. Morse, what you doing?
Okay, second map pool is this. Yeah, this is part of the map pool. The Amber Glades. It's a map that's in the map pool, so just checked. So we're fine. We are fine. Also, Ryan is in chat. We have Dactyr, Samurai Warrior, Risto, or yeah, Lotusman still around.
I think they were referring to the previous map though, the Pillar of Bone, and not to the Amber Glades.
Let's see what people are saying.
I mean, if I were a referee, I would be paying attention to this sort of stuff, but just here to cast the game this time.
Back there saying, Alfredino is extremely good. He was my pick to win the whole thing before today. Wow, okay. So didn't realize that. I mean, yeah, he's really good, but I would still like put Even Star and Crabling above him. we will see if the final that I expect to happen is actually gonna happen.
Well, chances will decrease if once again Crabling's win
Crabling loses.
becomes null and void.
Yeah. Well, it cannot become void because void is out of the tournament.
Oh.
Okay, that was really bad.
Yeah, that was worthy of Optimus Pine.
All right, in before we lose all our viewers. We're up to 90 actually, so thanks a lot to everyone for showing up for this match.
Is there a delay on the viewer count as well? Because
No.
I want to see the viewer count in 3 minutes since you made that joke in that case.
Yeah, well, we're at 88 right now, so we'll see.
Oh, it's already starting to drop. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they predicted what I said. Okay, so Crabling really thinking about it, and at this point in the tournament, it's when you might just start thinking even more and more about each pick you make, because faction picking stage is so important, and you don't have all the time in the world, but there is no need to actually rush it either. So yeah, you can take your time if you think that's gonna increase your chances.
Yeah, I would prefer not to have 40 minutes between games though, like we had yesterday.
Well, I mean, I think that's gonna happen more and more as we get to the final.
I think the reason it might be taking long is because deciding what to do about the map, because I believe Pillar of Bone was not in the map pool.
Oh.
At least that's what chat was telling us, right?
Oh.
But I guess if they had decided they needed to replay again, they would have already done it. So for now, the score stands. I see Crabling shuffling some of his units around. He hasn't confirmed faction yet. Okay, he's confirming Norska.
Okay. Norska it is. See what he decides to go with.
Norska versus Lizard's pretty tough, in my opinion. If you're getting shot by Solars and kited by Chameleons and Pterodons, there's no real way of punching back very well. You have options for killing monsters, but they are quite short-ranged and limited. And I don't believe your infantry does super well for the most part. It's one of the few matchups where Berserkers actually trade down. Marauders do beat Skinks, of course, but I don't think you kill Lizardmen by killing Skinks effectively.
Alright. Norska Lizardman.
I saw you were playing the Scaly Boys for a bit, Prince. Have you picked them up?
Sort of, but I picked them up a while ago actually, but yeah. I mean, even against High Elves, so I've played that from the High Elves side. Lizardman against High Elves, but I assume that's what you mean by Scaly Boys, is it?
Yeah, the Lizardmen are the Scaly Boys.
Yeah. Okay. Just making 100% sure. But yeah,
maybe I could have meant Ghost. They have some scaly units.
Yeah.
It's
So yeah, I've played them more often recently, and even that Lizardman High Elf game, I haven't practiced that matchup, but I did play it from the High Elf side at least, so I sort of knew at least what to expect to some degree, so that definitely helped. But yeah, enough of that different game. I mean, I'm at a tournament and I lost, and we're watching Crabling and Alfredino here, so the two players who are actually in top 8, and yeah, they are they're duking
I
it out.
actually wanted to, bounce off that, of your Lizardman
Okay.
expertise that you recently acquired. See how you fancy the Lizardman's chances in this matchup and how you would potentially tackle it.
I think it's well, from what I know, I think this is Lizard favorite, I believe, but I mean, it could be telling an entirely false fact as well, but I'm pretty sure it's good for the Lizards. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it how it pans out. Norska isn't as strong as it used to be because its pendulum doesn't do that much anymore. It got nerfed. But yeah, we're in the game, so we're gonna go over the well, I'm gonna go over the Norskans. So to start things off, we have Wulfric the Wanderer. We also have some the Shaman Sorcerer of Metal, some Norskan Ice Trolls. How many actually? I think I see one. I don't know if we have a second one. Yeah, we do have a second one. We do have a couple of yeah, so 2 trolls. Yeah, 2 trolls. We do have 2 Ice Wolves as well. No, 1 Norskan Warhound and an Ice Wolf. For the infantry contingent, it's very spread out, but we have a bunch of Marauders. That's 5 of them. We also have 2 Marauder Berserkers. Then we do have a few Marauder Hunters with Javelins. I believe that's 4 of them. But I did not go over to Lord, actually. We have... no, I did. But we... And the Shaman Sorcerer of Metal. But, What did I miss? Yeah, I didn't miss the Beasts of Tashnar either, so I thought I missed the unit. But I don't know, I think I'm fine. So yeah, you can go over the lizards now, actually.
As the Viking, of course, I'm going over the lizards and not the Norskins. So we have a big skirmish force here, sort of as I thought we would see. This is looking a lot like the build Saphir brought against Falcon's Norska, which ended up being very effective. 4 more shooty units in the front line, skin cohort with javelins, and 4 Saurus warriors behind around a Slan Mage Priest of Light, and they're in this formation because if you look at the items on this Slan Mage Priest of Light, he does have the Aura of Quetzal, I believe it's called.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, which is going to give 30 armor and 24 melee defense to these already beefy Saurus. So big buffs coming in there along with the Shield of the Old Ones. This lizard boy will be very tough to crack. And then the Solar Engine, of course, to put some pressure on any horsemen to be able to hold position even more. And one thing I really love against Norska in any matchup, one anti-large monster to keep Wulfric busy. A non-hero or non-lord monster even, which is even better because he cannot debuff it.
Okay, so yeah, those Chameleon Kings are definitely gonna put on quite the hurt on Norska, especially if they get some shots off into those Marauder Berserkers. They have no shield and they have really low armor, so perfect targets for them. And here comes the Beasts of Tashnar, actually. Oh, they could not catch the Skinks. They get shot by the Skinks and they have to retreat into the forest where they are safe.
Did you see their stats go down? If the Solar Engine shoots them, they have 10 melee attack and 0 melee defense. They're worse than zombies. So that Solar Engine is gonna come in handy to debuff units in important fights as well.
Seafang coming in. I'm not sure about this, actually. Like, it's really hard to hit Skinks, and also, like, do you really want to use it against Skinks that are also like fast? They move around and they're in loose formation, so I think that's actually quite the waste of a Seafang.
Yeah, it was a waste. At least Wulfric, I believe, has 1 more Seafang than he used to, so he'll still be able to throw 2 of those things. But yeah, you can see the problem, right? Norska has no way of healing, and even the bronze shielded Marauders are taking a beating from these cheap Skinks.
So much damage from those things. Indeed, those Marauders are hurting. Wulfric's hurting. He's lost about 2k HP and he's still taking a lot of damage. So yeah, quite a rough situation for Crabling here. Even more damage piling on in. So definitely quite interesting semi-kite build from Alfredino here. He is essentially kiting back towards his infantry corps. And here we have an engagement. Ice Wolves plus Trolls coming in here against the Javelins.
Yeah, good catch by Crabling. Definitely something he needed to do. Still half hit points, half ammunition on that skink unit, so good to get rid of that. But this Marauder frontline already looking shaky as the Lizards keep putting on the damage.
Yeah, Carnosaur in some trouble here. Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh.
Needs a cold-blooded.
Yes, out of control, getting hit by Wulfric, so good engagement here from Norska, actually turning things around. Meanwhile, on the other side, we do have the Javelins actually engaged with some Ice Trolls. Marauder Berserkers going into those Saurus Warriors with shields. So actually, it is game on, as you know, Norska's winning the right flank and also not doing terribly on the left as well. They are pushing forward. They also have their Javelins still in play. Shaman Sorcerer of Metal is alive. Ice Trolls doing fine, and all of those Skinks on the left flank of Alfredino, they're going down, as is the Feral Carnosaur.
Yeah, Norska suddenly looking very strong here, because the Saurus for some reason spread out. They were in that nice formation, allowing them all to get buffed up by the Aura of Quetzal, but the Slan currently in no position to use that ability on the Saurus, who badly need it against the Norscan infantry. That's currently laying a beating on them.
Yeah, so Wulfric needs to be careful. Are we going to see a Seafang somewhere? I'm not sure. Oh, we do see... Yeah, we do see the Seafang is actually going to hit something. Oh, big banishment on top of the Ice Trolls and Marauder Berserkers. Seafang does do a little bit, but again, against Skinks is not the best target. Wulfric actually gets grazed by the Solar Engines. More Ice Trolls coming in, and now The Norskins have actually lost some of their infantry, but they've still got enough to potentially push through into those skinks, and we do have the Beast of Tashdar still in play, going after some skink cohorts that came back.
And the solar engine now also compromised. A net will allow it to retreat. Something we didn't focus on was that the solar engine was actually firing quite a few of its shots into the trees, so quite some lost value there. But Wulfric now under threat from all of these skinks, who will take him down if they're given enough time.
Yeah, but again, Wulfric is, he does have a big HP pool, so if you want him dead, you gotta focus a lot to take him down. And if you don't focus enough, I mean, he's gonna be alive, and he's still gonna do his damage. Again, like, single entities, basically still as efficient as they are on full HP, if in terms of their damage potential. So Norska's pushing through, the balance of power also in their favor. The Norskan Ice Wolves were able to push off that Feral Carnosaur and have now returned. Beast of Tashdar as well coming in. I'm not entirely sure if they should have already engaged those skinks. I feel like maybe they could have waited for the infantry to jump in as well. But looks like Alfredino does end up GGing, and we have 2-2 in this series as Crabling evens up the scoreboard.
Yeah, quite impressive. Just that catch on the chameleon or the skink skirmisher on the flank really started to snowball, and from there he just kept pushing in relentlessly. And Alfredino, it looked like a very strong setup, but it kind of fell apart quickly due to, I would say, subpar positioning and use of his Carnosaur and solar engine as well. Prince, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still with you. I'm trying to read chat. Yeah, so for those unaware, we have 3-minute delay, and yeah, so that's why like it's also difficult for me to go over the chat and like react to it.
I was going to open the chat because I dislike it when there's like a co-caster who isn't paying attention to the chat, but because I realized you had 3-minute delay, I figured, well, I can't really bother. Because if you're replying to someone 3 minutes later, they've already pretty much forgotten what that conversation was about, right? Definitely a, you know, disadvantage of casting with delay, but I suppose it's a necessary evil. So far, your prediction is coming true.
No,
Precious.
it's not.
I mean, not the score you predicted, but the fact Crabling might make the reverse sweep. And I gotta say, this was the first game out of the, well, 5 by now that we've watched. I mean, I guess the first one was like Crabling in top shape as well, but that win didn't count. But this was, again, that sort of feeling where he's just, you know, pushing in with that relentless aggression, just crushing his opponent under the weight of his army. And if he can keep up that momentum for the last game, I think he will take this.
So yeah, since Crabling actually took this game and we're going to game 5, what this means that he's going to be picking 3 factions, and from my perspective, this is actually a downside, because you have to think of 3 factions that, you know, well, essentially one of them is going to get banned anyway, so your 2 factions must be good against any faction that your opponent can bring out. So any 2 factions you have, that is 2 out of your 3. So it's
definitely a very tough thing which you want to, well, prepare ahead of time. I'm going to assume that Crabling did that, but the thing you can't really prepare is which factions are already out at that point, and sometimes which factions you have played as counters to the first picks that did come up. So even if you prepare it, it's still hard to make a good choice here. And you kind of have to predict the future, right? Whereas your opponent, he can wait and see what you picked, and then make the ideal choice for himself. So I suppose there are some combos, if you can find them, which also make it very difficult to counterpick for the opponent. So which factions do you think will be coming out here from Crabling, Prince?
He hasn't played Skaven, has he? And has he played Greenskins? I don't think he has either.
Indeed,
So
so
those
two
two.
strong options remaining.
The final option, I'm not sure, but definitely Skaven and Greenskins. I think those are gonna be two picks he's gonna go with. So yeah. So actually, Crabling, I think he has the stronger faction pool for game 5, and he probably has the stronger mental state as well, because he came from a deficit. So yeah, I'm gonna go with him taking this one, because the stars seem to have aligned for him to take this.
Before we even know the matchup, man, you must have money on Crabling or something, because I can already see the comments after you upload this stream, like, biased cast.
if only you could bet on Warhammer tournaments.
I mean, if we allowed betting, people would have lost a lot of money on this one, to be fair.
Oh, Soothsayer out, Belcon out, Fistek out, Cyphus out.
Like poor Risitas, man. Betting his house and his sister Scar on them.
Right, so Crabling decided to go with Greenskins, Counts, and probably Skaven, so yeah.
Probably wants to confirm that before he sees any choices from Alfredino.
It's like probably Skaven, and then like waits for Alfredino's choice, and it's like, no, not Skaven.
I mean, he had Lizardman available too, which is probably a stronger faction than VC overall. But what I find when making these three picks is that you kind of want to put one faction in there that's really nasty to a lot of factions in the game. So often you will see Dwarves or VC put in the mix just to sort of, deny a lot of other factions, unless that is the faction that is banned. So if you're Alfredino at this point, like, what's going through your mind, you think?
Oh, a lot of negative things for sure, like probably at this point I would probably reach out to clanmates for sure and see like what do you think I should do here, because yeah, like my head would not be straight in this scenario for sure. So like I would he's already played the Greenskins. I haven't seen him play Skaven actually. He hasn't played Skaven in this match so far, has he? Yeah, so
nope.
Still
also
has
no
that
Tomb
one.
Kings, which tends to be a faction he seems to favor. No Bretonia, so there are some options.
Yeah, but Skaven against what we have here is probably not the best pick though. So he might decide to go with something else. But it's tough to say.
He likes High Elves too. Maybe we'll see those. Another VC High Elf match. I'm up for it. I know people laughed at Wood Elf Mirror Prince that you played, and it was definitely the most exciting game of the tournament. But Phoenix Guard box against Vampire Counts, that's the one I'll remember.
Oh yeah, that one. looks like Alfredino's looking at the counts.
Yeah, but Crabling should confirm Skaven, I feel. Before Alfredino makes any choices.
Still waiting on it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get Crabling to confirm that he is putting Skaven into his pool, because he said and probably Skaven. I don't think he will change it. But like, it would probably be nice for Alfredino if he just said outright that those were his 3 picks.
Yeah, I would be... You know, by this point, if I was actually Alfredino, I maybe would have picked my faction and forgot that Crabling didn't actually specify that he was actually taking Skaven. No, he has actually confirmed it now, I think.
Your army blocker is up, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it has always been up when, you know, factions weren't confirmed, at least. So there's that.
I mean, for once, I want to be the guy to try and remind someone of that instead of having people shout at me like, army blocker. But you know, I did a challenge to my chat when I was hosting my last cup. I was just going like, okay, if I keep the army blocker up and you call me out on it, I think there was some sort of reward for it, but I never had to actually give someone the reward, so I guess I paid attention to it.
Alright, so turns out you can bet on Warhammer tournaments. Message me in private on Discord. Minimum bet 5 lizard trinkets. Payout 250%. No refund. No refund. Yeah.
Seems legit.
Yeah, that's not a Ponzi scheme. Okay.
Alfredino is considering counts, and I think that might be a good choice here, because if you think of greenskins, you can handle them. If you think of counts, well, it's even, of course, because it's a mirror, but we don't want to see that. And if you think of Skaven, well, I think it's supremely annoying to play for the counts, but it's definitely a matchup they can win. Hasn't confirmed yet, though.
Still waiting on it, but most likely counts. But I mean, Alfredino is really good with the Skaven though, so yeah, I mean, we'll see. But still, like, does he want to pick into potentially one of those factions? Probably not. So it's also smart picks from Crabling, because yeah, like,
yeah, it is a strong combo. There is no obvious weak point.
Yeah.
That I see.
So you're not gonna pick Skaven into, I mean, greenskins or counts, and do you want to play a Skaven mirror? Like, you're kind of fighting an uphill battle in like those. Unless you're like, yeah, Skaven mirror where it's even, I guess.
I don't feel like you want to go High Elves or Bretonia into this either, so it kind of feels like Crabling has managed to somewhat neutralize Alfredino's best factions with his pick.
Yep. tough scenario, and like this pick here that decides the match basically. So I can understand Alfredino's desire to like just think about it as long as possible. So definitely
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Or to kick yourself for taking a hasty decision later.
Yeah. It's what makes or breaks it.
And I think he definitely wants to take his time to gather his thoughts and sort of find the right groove again, because he just lost 2 games. The second one he lost actually rather decisively, I would say. And well, I'm not saying you should intentionally use delaying tactics, but it might stop Crabling's momentum a little bit. Actually, Crabling has readied up, but I don't see a confirmation from Counts yet. So maybe Alfredino can be really cheeky. Confirm another faction, load up the build, ready up. Before Crabling can unready, you go into the game and he has the wrong build. Easy money. Imagine if that's how it was decided. Oh, it is Greenskins versus Counts. Okay.
Yeah, we're going.
Maybe they were talking to each other in the voice channel that they're both in, and that's how they know.
Yep.
Greenskins Counts. Ooh.
That's pretty good for I mean, I'd say it's pretty decent for the Counts here, so yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of the matchups that the Greenskins always ban, so...
Let's put the army blocker off. People in chat are like, everyone wants Counts mirror, so yeah, I think they'll see in like 3 minutes.
Some people just want to see the world burn.
Okay, so this is... I mean, these 2 factions are close to your heart, so I'm gonna let you pick the one that you wanna go over first.
Well, I think it will be no surprise to anyone in chat that I am going over the vampire counts. With the 4 zombies in front, lovely. And the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord.
Yep.
Let us see what he has. Actually, all the bells and whistles, the Sword of Anti-Heroes for more damage, the Helm of Discord. He has Raise Dead in the Heck, that won't come as a surprise, but he also has Gaze of Nagash, so really going in for the character snipes there. There is a Mortis Engine on the field, backed up by the Sternsman, very strong unit in this matchup. 2 White Kings with Scab Scrats, a Black Coach, the Dire Pack Direwolves coming in with that Anti-Large, and unit of Black Knights, 2 in total, actually 3 in total, no Blood Knights on the field whatsoever, so a lot of hitting and running potential there. Guarding the Mortis Engine will also be 1 unit of Crypt Horrors, very useful at getting AP damage in, and of course causing poison in a blob.
Okay. So, yeah, I need to go over the Greenskins. I was like, oh yeah, I must have already gone over the Greenskins, because so far in this match I was the one to go over the builds first. But anyway, I'm gonna go over them quickly. We have the Goblin Great Shaman on the Spider with the Big Un Rogue Idol. Wow, okay, like, very interesting pick here. We have some infantry as well. Looks like a bunch of these Black Orcs, 2 of them. We have some 8-pick Loons, 2 Savage Orc Piggins, 3 missile units, 1 of them being the Rusty Irons, 1 of them being Savage Orc Rare Boys, and the last one, the regular Orc Rare Boys. We have the Orc Shaman as well, who just used the Gaze of Mork on the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, and I don't think I see anything else from the Greenskins, but definitely a very interesting Greenskin build here, so we'll see how it works out for Crabling. I definitely didn't expect this. So.
Second Gaze of Mork there, dodged really well by the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord.
Pigan kinda, Rogue Idol kind of missing the Black Knights there, but does end up killing 1 model at least. Ooh, Mortis Engine actually has taken some damage, so needs to be careful.
Yeah, it will regenerate. The Crypt Horror is nicely positioned to try and block those shots as they come in, but I think the hitbox for the Mortis Engine is just a little bit too high for them to reliably block those shots.
So looks like we're gonna see... Oh, overcast from the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, and... Oh, the Rogue Idol actually took the hit, so some nice maneuvering from Crabling there.
Yeah, very on point. Crawling behind this Rogue Idol. Letting him take it to the face.
Yes, the Spire's like, you take it. So right now we have the Goblin Shaman chasing off the Black Coach. That coach also getting targeted by a few of those Orc Rare Boys. Damage is starting to pile on, and White Key's getting shot at, but it's very difficult to hit them, and even if you hit them, they have Silver Shields, so they're not going to be taking that much damage from missiles. And oh, we did see a Scab Scrath actually hitting the 8-bit Loonies, and also dodge with the Rusty Arrows, so Crabling is so far on point this game, yeah.
Yeah, of course, 4 more Scab Scrats remain, and they will be brutal against those goblins, which are of course essential with their spinning loons and the armor sundering arrows that can come in and deal a lot of damage to, well, any part of the vampire army, really.
Yep. So I think Alfredino's like not really taking any engagements. He's getting shot at currently, so I thought he wanted to go in with his infantry and then collapse in with his cavalry forces, with his mobile contingent, but it took him a while to decide what to do, and he is getting some hits from these Orc Rare Boys and such, so I don't know if this is too great for him. However, the Black Coach is doing some work.
Yeah, pulling through those units, but has to be careful of the Spider. Black Coach, of course, will hit a power spike if it remains in combat for a long enough time, getting up to 3 buffs from that, eventually, if it survives.
And right now I do kind of like the situation for the Greenskins, how it's gone so far, but the Goblin Green Shaman might be in a precarious position, potentially. Even the Rogue Idol is coming in. Savage Orc Biggins are able to stop those Black Knights. Black Coach going around, but the Black Orcs are about to engage here. So we'll see how that pans out.
And speaking from experience as a greenskin player, I'm not liking the situation too much. The ranged units are compromised. There's no real way to hold down the single entities or punish the cavalry. And well, I guess right now there is a catch on the Black Coach, but it will be pulling out again. So this sort of feels like being slowly strangled to death.
Yeah, so I feel like the Rogue Idol is like not really paying for itself right now, even though like it looked pretty decent for the Greenskins start. We'll see how this goes on. Again, Black Orcs quite potent here, and ooh, nice hit there from Goblin Great Shaman. Here comes the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. I think that was a breath. Yeah, kind of missed actually.
Beautiful dodge by Crabling. But he's under a lot of pressure, a lot of units are breaking, and the problem with this playstyle and this matchup in general for Greenskins is any unit that routes, the vampire counts can take their time to simply run it off the field, and there isn't anything you can do about it.
Yeah, but right now the Rogue Idol is also starting to take quite the hits. Of course, it's massive in terms of hit points still, so 8.3k, it's gonna take a while to take it down, but Blood Dragon Vampire Lord going down here, trying to finish off these Black Orcs, and what a nice dodge thanks to the animation. The Orc Shaman was unable to hit the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord there with the Gaze of Mork.
Yeah, calculated, as they say. So you see, a lot of the vampire count single entities are pretty low, but if he drops a fat Invocation of Nehek on that, you know, part of the battlefield where they are currently, that's going to really be quite terrible for the Greenskins, because they just have no means of ensnaring these units in combat or finishing them off reliably.
Ooh, the Black Orcs are actually routing, and that was the one unit that was providing some support to the Rogue Idol and Goblin Gate Shaman here. Looks like the Gaze of Mork does actually hit the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord, but not doing that much. And here comes a breath. Will there be a miss? Oh, that wasn't a breath actually. So the Goblin Gate Shaman is in huge trouble here, but nice Crown of Command is going to allow it to stay in combat. But is it still going to go down anyway here? It might route anyway after the Crown of Command
I think he's
wears
simply
off.
going to get killed.
Yeah, yeah. Either a route or killed. So it's gonna have to be some huge stuff from Crabling here if he wants to win.
I mean, the big one is still standing, but he's kind of struggling to reach the Vampire Lord right now, who is getting out. And again, the same thing I was mentioning, like these single entities, they can take a lot of damage, but look at the Black Coach, look at the Blood Dragon Lord, they're both escaping at very low hit points. And now the Lord is routing, and there's nothing really left for the Greenskins.
Yeah, Blood Dragon Vampire Lord could actually... So, has two targets, either the Orc Shaman or the Goblin Great Shaman. But going for the Lord is the better choice here, because the Orc Shaman, like, what is it gonna do? It's not the priority right now. And as the Goblin Great Shaman gets chased off the field, I think the chances of Greenskins winning this one are starting to run low. The Rogue Idol is not gonna be able to take this one alone.
Well, very close to breaking. Still two healthy White Kings. The next charge from the Blood Dragon will probably kill it.
The Black Orcs are still, however, holding on for, despite losing the Lord. They might actually rout now, and there they go. So that should be it. The big one is truly alone now, but is it big enough to take out all of these units? No.
I don't think so, and it's also taking quite a bit of free damage trying to get through to the targets it would prefer to fight. Actually gets a shot there on the Mortis Engine, but just falls short of killing it, and will go down to a breath attack right here.
It does dodge, but wow, army loss is kicking in, and Alfredino takes this final game. 3-2 victory here. That's really impressive. I mean, wow, like quite a nice series what we just saw here, and it definitely looked like Crabling was getting back into it, but Alfredino's like nope, and in game 5 crushed the dreams of Crabling. So let's take a look at the stats here. For Crabling, we do have 2700 damage value on the Goblin Great Shaman, decent-ish value on the Orc Shaman, Savage Orc Biggins 1200, Black Orcs value almost paying for themselves. Savage Orc Biggins as well, but the big one 1300, but that doesn't pay for itself. So yeah, and it was difficult to. So it's with this kind of build, it's difficult to defend your missiles as well. So, and there were like 3 missiles. Hmm?
It's pretty much impossible.
Yeah, yeah, and on what do we see on the vampire side in terms of value actually?
Well, so the Mortis Engine didn't do too much, of course. There wasn't much elite infantry to drain. Okay, there were Savage Biggins and there were some Black Orcs, but they were never really in a blob. You could drain multiple of them at a time, but it was really the Black Coach doing most of the work there, tanking a lot of the damage and also dealing it. Cryptors coming in strong, Tire Pack, basically paying for themselves. I wouldn't say twice over, but definitely 1.5 times over, because yeah, they chased a lot of units that were routing and you cannot get them back. Major problem for the Greenskins. Black Knights not really performing too well. Stearnsman again doing really well, still on high health and almost 1k value. The White Kings also with throwing those Scab Scratch, which eliminated the Night Goblins, both units, before they could do too much.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm wrong. I didn't even get my first prediction right, like Crabling taking the series. So not, let alone like the 3-1. So yeah, actually Alfredino proving me wrong. So manages to take this 3-2. Advances on forward. So congratulations to him. But where we go, like I'm actually really surprised that Crabling decided to go into this matchup. So yeah, like Greenskins counts is. Don't want to play it as Greenskins, and I don't know if like, yeah, the Rogue Idol is just seemed like a very risky pick, as well as the on top of the 3 archers. I mean, as well.
Yeah, I think in this matchup, so it is always going to be tough, no doubt about it, but you need some sort of snare because you need to get the kills on those single entities. You cannot let them cycle charge you to death as they did in this particular game. And it's kind of hard to say what would be the best, because the gaze of Nagash could have definitely killed Wurzag at a distance, so bringing him for the snare wouldn't have worked out. Maybe it could have even killed Skarsnik over time, and yeah, maybe it's just one of those matchups where in the end you realize that you gotta bring the fat dude on the chariot, and that's maybe your best option, giving immunity to psychology to everything, not dying. Sounds pretty good. Doesn't have a snare, but you know, can hit back on retreating single entities. But yeah, I don't think anyone has really cracked this greenskin, this matchup from the greenskin side to such an extent that we can really sit here and say like, oh, that this is the way to do it.
Yep. Okay, so this does mean that Alfredino moves on. Again, congratulations to him. Very nicely played series from him. And we're gonna have a really nice set of semifinals here with 2 ODMs actually. So ODM representation on either side of the bracket in this tournament in the semis. So very strong showing from the ODM clan. We do have, for the first semi-final, Evenstar up against Showtime. Awesome series for sure. And the second one, Lotus Moon, up against Alfredino here. So yeah, that's those are gonna be some hopefully awesome matches, because the players themselves are really, really good. So hopefully the games are too. Usually that's the case, but you know, sometimes great players do not produce great games, so it sometimes happens as well. So, but hopefully not this time, and hopefully it's not a wash, like, you know, 3-0 on either side. So should be some great semifinals to watch.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm pretty sure about it. Like that Evenstar Samurai series yesterday, man, that was just beauty. Games on a razor's edge. That's what I expect as well going forward into this tournament.
All right, so for predictions, I'm gonna start. I don't know if you want to do them as well, but time to be wrong again, perhaps. I'm gonna go with Evenstar taking out Showtime and Lotus Moon against Alfredino. You know what? Since Alfredino took out Crabling, since he took me out, like, I gotta root for well, I gotta go with Alfredino taking out Lotus Moon, even though, like, you know, Lotus also did a really fine job throughout this whole tournament. So yeah, Evenstar Alfredino final from me. And in terms of score, I'm gonna go Evenstar 3-2 against Showtime, and Alfredino 3-1 against Lotus Moon. So we'll see if that is correct or if I'm entirely wrong.
I'm just going to be contentious and say Showtime will win 3-2 and Lotus Moon will win 3-1.
Literally the opposite, okay. So, you know, one of us is wrong. One of us will be wrong. We'll see. But yeah, currently shaping up to be an awesome semis. And we'll see who makes it to the bronze match. There's also going to be a bunch of other streams. I believe there's going to be one from Rubber Duck of War. We'll be streaming on the 23rd of April, so just in a couple of days. And he'll be streaming the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th place matches, essentially, because those are still going to be played. The people who made top 8 and have been knocked out, they're still going to be playing some matches just to see the actual ranking between those players. And could still be some really good games, because everyone who made top 8 is also really, really good. So yeah, it will be fun to watch, even though it's not part of the main event anymore. But yeah, anyway, that's gonna be it for us. So Alfredino takes this 3-2. Again, congratulations to him, and Crabling had a really good run in this tournament, but unfortunately for him, this is going to be it. So, and yeah, thank you Viking for co-casting with me on this day, and see you everyone
Yeah, thanks for having me, Prince, and enjoy